My name is Angelica Jakela, and I am a human earth angel. I'm a humanitarian also, with the best interest of helping humans to prevent them from suffering. Angelica Jakela. In this video, I'm mentioning a message to inform and let all humans know to please help the disabled people. Angelique and myself am a victim of serious medical negligence by over 50 to 100 medically negligent doctors and psychiatrists and approximately 100 medically negligent nurses, registered nurses, practical nurses, and many other medical staff of ECT clinic in CAMH, Center for Addiction and Mental Health in downtown Toronto, CAMH Emergency, different units at CAMH, and Mount Sinai Hospital. This is unfortunate how there's medical staff working and hired in a well-known city such as Toronto that shouldn't have to be there. And there's still, after 20 long years, that's over 2 decades, that I was wrongly admitted there. I had a medical concern rather, and not a mental health disorder, and was wrongly put in a mental health ward under a general term schizophrenia that I didn't have at all anything to do with schizophrenia, and it's a general term, not a specific mental health disorder. And the staff knew, but put me wrongly on the forms to stay there in mental health wards and kept me throughout the years. And I didn't have money for medical negligence lawyers to get out of it. An intelligent human lost my 4 years of studies in the University of Toronto, $40,000 worked hard to pay for as a young child, couldn't barely find a job, but intelligent and worked in a factory for $7 for many hours in hot factory assembly lines to pay for this, and studied throughout the years as a child in university like many others. Some studied college, some young children still, some elderly people I've seen unfortunately there at CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, and other places in the world, illegally harmed there with dangerous antipsychotics that they do not need, clozapine or clozaril, loxapine, risperidone, polyperidone, Abilify, or aripiprazole. Many different illegal should be and are very dangerous antipsychotics and benzodiazepines and ECT. Electroconvulsive therapy is stated, but it is not a therapy, it is in essence electroconvulsive torture. It is not recommended for pregnant women. Any doctor that states it is not safe. According to me, separately, I am a victim series of ECT and illegally given to me, and I didn't need. That's why it harmed my brain more. Any antipsychotics, benzodiazepines that a human doesn't need, such as myself, a woman, was given, and other humans, men, children, if they're given and they don't have any mental health rather disorder to treat, then it damages the brain and physical health more. Most humans with mental health, certain basic disorders, basically need some cognitive behavioral therapy, some counseling, advice on how to live in their happy lives. Even humans with depression, most of them basically need a good diet with a lot of nutrients, a lot of amino acids and proteins to help the brain to make proper neurotransmitters, to make dopamine and serotonin in the brain, to release, in essence, chemicals and signals to the body from the brain to be happy, to help others, to be in a supportive environment, have nice, happy staff that care, doctors, psychiatrists, nurses, registered nurses, practical nurses, all other types of staff, to be there, have someone to care for them, to be recommended exercise, to go outside in the sun, get a vitamin D helps them in many ways in the brain and immune system, to have proper medical advice for basic B complex to be given, omega 3s to help the brain and the heart, healthy fats to internalize whole grains, leave out white floured products, to eat healthy fats. These are basic things that a human with a mental health basic disorder needs, and happiness to be well rested, be in good company, to have a job, accomplish what they choose in life, to help someone be happy. This is all that's needed. Unfortunately, there's hundreds of people that I'm informing that are disabled needlessly, such as myself, brain damaged, harmed, illegally, most against free will of choice, not allowed by law, not allowed under God. It is unethical, is morally wrong on the part of the physician, the psychiatrist, or medical doctor. Most of them are psychiatrists. They are medically incompetent and medically not capable of assisting a human with proper medical advice or assessing them properly. It is their job as a medical professional and psychiatrist to do. But they don't do their job. They are wrongly putting humans on forms signed in medical hospitals, the mental ward facilities, such as CAMH, the Center for Addiction and Mental Health in downtown Toronto, and CAMH Emergency in Mount Sinai Hospital Emergency and Mental Ward. Illegally putting humans, a lot of them don't know English, that come to the country, wrongly assessed, are not told what mental health disorder they actually have, and most of them do not have one, and wrongly put on a form stating schizophrenia, which is a general term, which human obviously doesn't have. It is not a specific mental health disorder name. A human cannot be treated medically and by any psychiatrist for a general term. Schizophrenia. It is not a part of a brain mentioned specifically that has a certain defect or deficiency in nutrients. Anything to do with the brain mental health is not specifically stated what the psychiatrist is intending to have treatment. which treatment is defined as to be beneficial to help human health, but is what they sign as treatment in CAMH, most of them, these medically negligent psychiatrists that work there, over 50 of them for over 20 years, some more, and currently working there, wrongly affiliated with the University of Toronto and other schools, and then the nursing staff, over 100 of them, over 20 long years that I knew of, and others before that. Myself was wronged by these individuals, put on a form illegally, and I didn't choose, and made substitute decision makers to put wrong decisions for a human that didn't act in my best interest. These physicians knew or not educated these humans and put them purposely to make decisions that I didn't make illegally and knew and couldn't do. Substitute decision makers are put there in case a human is severely damaged in brain or has no way to comment themselves and have someone there, usually made a family member, to assist them that they know about the human would make the patient what the patient would do in this situation in the best interest of their health, to accept or reject certain treatments. Like myself and others there were put on forms illegally by these psychiatrists and found humans not intelligent or educated or did not knowing the language very well, and made substitute decision makers for certain ones of these humans, and illegally put on forms and put them to sign dangerous clozapine, illegal, done to human against free will of choice that has rights as a patient and a free will of choice given by God to reject dangerous antipsychotics they don't need. Olanzapine, risperidone, polyperidone, aripiprazole, Abilify, also known as, in this situation, loxapine. There are many others, but these are the main ones, and I was a woman, obviously didn't need. This is mostly a man, maybe 300 pounds, and doesn't need, could barely handle these. A skinny woman is definitely doesn't have any purpose of having these, and it was once a child and is healthy, and had blood clot, which I can't be given these anyway, but was illegally given for the purpose of these psychiatrists making a paycheck. These are humans wronged on the earth because of medically negligent staff, and they swear oath to God, but morally I don't know how they live with themselves, but harmed patients. The College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario and the Nurses College, Nurses of Ontario, they hired these staff, didn't follow up, and they wronged patients, and they're still investigating after a year and a half. Humans like myself have no money, obviously, on disability, which is nothing, which is, please listen, is in Ontario. ODSP is, well, some people have $150 a month to live for food, shelter, travel costs, and they don't have enough. This is not enough for $250 for one night out of the cold without any food, just a basic room in a hotel. If they were to stay with a basic bed and a washroom, maybe a microwave, but with no food for one night, the day to stay there, $250 cost for the basic cheapest in Ontario and Toronto hotel to stay out of the cold after being wronged, medical negligence rather, on the part of a psychiatrist that made $1 million a year and wronged myself and hundreds of other patients for over years. Never fired, never looked into by the governing colleges, even when complaints filed, obviously, by these patients a lot. never take their paychecks away what they're not allowed to make when harming patients. Their doctors, psychiatrists have to help patients. They swear oath to God, or they cannot make this paycheck. They have to give it back by law if they harm someone. And any money they spend they don't have, they have to give it back, take out a loan and give it back to the governing college, to the patient, to right the wrongs. To humans have right patients to sue for punitive damages, emotional distress, wrong by these psychiatrists, whatever they caused the harm. I lost my university degree, would have the 40,000 given to me by each of these doctors, different ones over time. Money to live for 2 long decades that I had ODSP, like others, is that gave barely 200, maybe a few more dollars over years. I never had enough to buy a jacket, uh, or worked and paid off my loans, and then lost it all because of medically negligent staff, couldn't have children. I didn't need to have any dangerous antipsychotics or benzodiazepines. I had blood clot. They endangered my life. Supposed to put me in a medical ward and let me go. But it kept me on paycheck to the next medically negligent doctor made paycheck and kept putting on forms. An educated human, but others are not educated in these matters. Come newcomers to Canada, we don't know English, put there on the forms and kept there misinformed. They're stated as schizophrenia, having the psychosis department, having psychosis. These are general terms. The patient's misdiagnosed with these, so they're put on these mental health wards. If they're in danger, because if they go to have a medical concern and go to another hospital, such as myself, the doctors wrongly see schizophrenia or psychosis and put them in mental ward. They cannot do. A human has no symptoms specifically obviously stated on the patient file that have any brain disorder, anything to do with schizophrenia or psychosis, which are even general terms, which I tell everyone to get rid of in the world who has a credible job. Patients avoid these terms. I warned, I have other videos. Please listen to this. These are humans like myself, wrongly admitted, as I stated, to mental wards, and I had a medical concern. Dying with blood clot, had to be in a heart specialist department. But as stated on the form there and the patient records, one doctor put schizophrenia, which I didn't have, and goes along the other one doctor went with. Even in other hospitals, they see they're obviously medically incompetent. They obviously know that a human is there for medical concerns, cannot be put in mental ward. These mental wards, keep in mind, are inhumane, are disgusting, stale air. Even the emergency rooms when they enter are disgusting, not clean, especially Mount Sinai Hospital, CAMH. Center for Addiction and Mental Health, and this is Toronto, one of the most well-known cities, right downtown in Toronto, in Ontario province, Canada. I'm an educated human in life sciences of all kinds, know about the ethics, patient rules, rights. We're all disrespected and had no right to be done to me by these medically negligent psychiatrists. I am disabled and I'm clarifying that the humans on disability, such as ODSP, is heartless how they do to humans, and they fund the Ontario, the ministers, the Prime Minister of Canada, the currently Justin Trudeau and other ones over years previously have no right to do. This funding has been lacking, and people on waiting list disability, but were actually our victims because they didn't do their job to hire proper governing colleges that hire these medically negligent staff that they shouldn't even let into the country, that obviously don't even know English properly. Most of the ones I dealt with don't even know English. I don't know how they were even hired. They have medical and psychiatric journals that they wrote that clearly I don't even know who published them because they don't even make sense. The sentences of a human that studied in a University of Toronto and knows this terminology, But they were there pushing pills to come to have a patient there once every 2 weeks to write a torture prescription, bodily harm against freedom of choice is human torture, illegal, not allowed anywhere in the world, fined by imprisonment, severe punishment, fines. Doctors have their license, medical, psychiatric license taken away right away, have to. But a human in Canada doesn't have a medical negligence lawyer, they can't get out of it. Eternity obviously can't afford one. $30,000 for court. It is the only one that is medical negligence lawyers that are not funded by financial aid in Ontario and has to be in case it is victims were wronged by these medically negligent staff that had no heart and rude and put on this and do and to patients still and other countries in the world. They had no right to do to harm a human life, mine a woman. I seen other children were there waiting in the morning for ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, which I say to everyone, get rid of the word from online entirely. Is electroconvulsive torture. This is not therapy to benefit help in any way. A human is kept alive, then fasting, dehydrated. Starving in the morning has to get up early to get there, to first come, first serve. And human illegally put on form doesn't need to be there. If I went there, didn't go there, the police would show up because as someone put the doctor, rather put me on a form illegally, what I don't deserve, and would take me there and force me to go through ECT. A human didn't want to go there and doesn't need to be, but illegally put on forms and can't afford a medical negligence lawyer. And humans wrong like this for over 20 years, some 10 years, is not a second, is years. 12 months, million days and nights in a year, spring, summer. And some people in these wards can't even go outside, maybe a few times, and in COVID times, almost never, to prevent the spread. No oxygen circulated enough in these places, disgusting. They open new buildings, but they don't put the patients there. They keep them with no nutrient supplementation recommended, no nutritious food at all, almost nothing to eat. These doctors, psychiatrists are well fed. They have $1 million Lincoln Navigators, Mercedes Benz, Audis parked outside with heated seats. While these humans like myself didn't need to be there at all. Push this clozapine huge market is illegal to all humans, especially don't choose, can't be given, and all patients misinformed there. All mostly stated schizophrenia, psychosis. They have the home intervention psychosis team. In the patient state, what am I there for? What is my brain disorder you think I have? Specifically tell me before I accept and reject clozapine, have rights as a patient. Then they say schizophrenia, psychosis, but that's a general term. A human doesn't know this, and these people are put there on these forms with schizophrenia and psychosis teams. There's a doctor with a medically negligent. The psychiatrist is working together with a caseworker that is a registered nurse that studied 4 years of really hard studies, not easy to pass, very expensive to help human health, and sits there with a doctor every week and makes the $1 million while they write a prescription and rude, tell each patient yelling you need the treatment. That they don't need is not treatment, clearly is illegal. This is the worst, this is torture of a human brain, thinking ability. The human has so many side effects that it never helps them and increases their immortality rate to die 15 years sooner if they take it too long. It damages the brain if they don't need it more. And if they take it, they are damaging the brain. If they had some mental health concern, it damages the brain more and doesn't help them at all. This is not allowed to be given to any patient and it should never be on the market. The FDA has illegally approved this for years and made the $1 million under God they can't. Abilify, it clearly damages the brain. Entirely no one can think at all. This is severe brain torture. It is not beneficial to anyone. I live through the side effects, I know, and I've seen these people crying and don't need it. And no one to help them, to even to send recommend to figure out if they really had a brain concern to send for a scan to prove it. When they choose to state to tell them what they actually even have if they have a brain disorder. A lot of them stating put on fire like mine catatonic. I said you can't do that. I'm not catatonic. Catatonic. And then pushing ECT for catatonic. A human that is catatonic obviously can't go through ECT. These are a million people affected by these medically negligent psychiatrists. They're wrongly endangering severely lives. Humans with depression cannot go through ECT. They're wrong more. Dehydrated with no nutrients and proper chemicals, neurotransmitters in brain. They don't have enough while fasting for 8 hours, obviously, and dehydrate. And when injected with general anesthesia, have an electrical current pass through both sides of the brain, inducing a seizure and electrocuting a human body nervous system with not enough calories and not enough electric or anything as well to handle it in first place after fasting for 8 hours. Children, old people. Some lady was there approximately 80, 90 years old. Clearly doesn't need any ECT, electroconvulsive torture. Is not therapy. I don't know who made this name. It needs to be gone from the world. And humans show up there in the morning, poor humans, forced on these forms, misinformed, and sit there, wait in the morning till these well-fed staff smiling, never look humans in the eye, open the doors, people waiting hours in line standing in the cold to come early so they get done first and don't have to wait their hours while fasting and can't sit there too tired and too hungry to be alive in the cold and stand another hour waiting till the staff are preparing the rooms there. Could leave at least put these open the door so the human wait and sit in the room. They did this while ECT, while there was COVID times. Endangered human lives, had to take a mask off with other staff there in close range, less than a meter away, even though with a mask, still breathing they didn't prevent the spread. And they had breathing air masks on a human mouth. Face that other people use, even though sanitized, it doesn't kill entirely all virus, and human could have suffered and died from coronavirus. While their brain was they could have caught it while they were knocked out cold unconscious, and inhaled this while they were knocked unconscious and brain electrocuted on both sides. Not informed by any ECT staff about this potential of humans catching the virus. They were negligent in themselves. Made the $1 million smiling, ask how is your mood? A human states, I don't have to be here. You said I'm doing fantastic. Obviously, I don't have to be here. Tell me why I need ECT. Catatonic, schizophrenia, psychosis. I said I don't have any of this. You need the treatment. I said for what? This is not treatment, it's torture. And then we're going on with the procedure because the psychiatrist prescribed it. But I said it's illegal. I don't need it. And they forced humans to go through illegally. Children, old people, I don't know how they survive, have severe brain damage, and cannot remember anything when go to a different room and wake up and put in bed somehow. I don't even know still how they got into a different room, a human that had a knocked out and electrocuted brain, and don't tell them they're gonna wake up in a different recovery room and can't remember anything, don't even remember what happened. Recent past memories, boyfriend, anyone they knew, family members, this part of the memory is severely damaged. His seizure was caused. and have this starving human after fasting for many hours, freezing in the cold, waiting for this procedure. People in line, the same people, children the next time, old people waiting. These kind of humans don't need sitting there with severe brain damage and the next till the next time the brain electrocuted. Humans pushing when they know against this thing the next put 2 weeks at least in between four. But some procedures done in this world every week. This is illegal torture. Human stated stories that are told to do this and do almost every week for a year. Some do every 4 weeks for more than a year, 2 years. These are human put to sleep and dehydrated with no nutrients and water and blood left, glucose and electrocute alive. It causes more depression in a human with no nutrients, doesn't help anyone, and they have depressed because they can't have a job after. They're disabled. In disability, human has a brain injury. They have severe memory damage for life. They cannot remember million seconds walking around who their boyfriend was, people crying. They cannot even remember what they learned, recent past memories. It is not a second. A human talking to someone they know, but they don't remember who they are. They need humans to drive them somewhere home safe. They cannot drive themselves, lose driver's license. They cannot work, obviously. They can't remember almost anything. They cannot go do their exercises. They take 2 weeks. They can't function, and they have to be taken home and to recover from being dehydrated, side effects of general anesthesia. They wake up so hungry and have to recover the electrolytes and everything grown what they shouldn't be have to be done to before a brain electrocuted, need proper health and oxygen before it, glucose, protein properly to pass a current through a human brain on both sides, but it's not. And then these people are disabled. Disability money is nothing. Is $150, some $200. Patients they're given this money and have to live and go on. Well, even the wards where they have the hospitals pay for the food, which is nothing. But disgusting muffin is true. They spit out. They don't like the taste of it. Say they need different food. Maybe over time they improve somewhat a little bit of food. Disgusting chicken with some bones in it. Fat, not chewable. Human spits it out. Need, and then they have no other food after and are starving and have to live off that hard a day with a box of a little small carton of milk for 20 years. The same every day. Disgusting crap. Food tastes like cardboard. One meal once in a while, maybe an event, a holiday. They invest some bit money for these people for the food. They have the $100 million, this facility, new one. Empty rooms, well circulated air, but don't put any patients there. The doctor staff walking around making the $1 million there is seen and they don't even help anyone. Keep jackets away from me. Illegally was put there for 3 days. I can't even get a rights advisor to get me out. I need a lawyer. It's a big market. Everything is money oriented in these places to get a lawyer. Medical negligence lawyers, attorneys. A human that has well worked and even would have to pay a lot of money for a lawyer but couldn't get out of it. What doesn't need to be there could easily be assessed properly by caring psychiatrist doctor that know a human and doesn't have to be there and let go, but didn't. Keep on a form to stay there illegally against freedom of choice, disrespecting patient rights in place a woman, me, myself, and others don't want to be. The recovering drug addicts is a facility, mental health, people swearing, injected with different things, security running after them. Code white called almost every 5 seconds, which means irate patient. Humans telling the doctors truth and right to do. They know right to harm them, give them this, but the doctors call code white and leave, and security runs after these people. Kind of hard rights to tell the truth. They don't need this clozapine. They don't need olanzapine. They are legally injected. Doctors standing there and said this, and they don't need it, and most not informed. And the whole body, and they did to me, a woman, shaking, bilateral tremors, damaged the nervous system, muscles. These illegal antipsychotics I didn't need at all, clearly. Intelligent human. Finally got a capacity board meeting. Doctor said finally to take him to court after 20 years. Fought against him giving me clozapine I didn't need. I need to could have children, could have done my research for years, 4 years of life sciences, neurobiology, or human nutrition, everything. Could do any kind of medical field job I chose. Research to save lives. 100 million day night, 2 decades lost. Suffering with blood overdrawn, testing too weak, couldn't have children, side effects, brain damage, push one illegal antipsychotic after another. They don't stating they don't work, then they try another one. They illegally did research on humans. These are head clinical scientists, they say, but in working CAMH, but this is not science. This is not legal research. This is illegal human trials. Illegally pushed pills. These are dangerous chemicals. These are not prescribed, allowed by any human, especially don't choose. These are not by normal doctors, credible ones, recommended to any patients, firstly at all. These are given on this in this place in CAMH all the time. There's some people still there, and I told them that I knew of it, educated, told what happened, to let them know, but they didn't know, to help them out of this, to tell them you don't need the 450 milligrams of clozapine. They're over sedating you, so you're not going to go and sleep more hours. 12 hours is harmful to your health. The most people don't know English. Most newcomers are put there. They come and put in, for some reason, went to the emergency room, CAMH, and put to these wards. They didn't have to be there. Some may have a certain mental concern but not assessed properly. They could have had counseling and vitamins recommended to be better off and never harmed and would be healthy. People with depression put there. This is not a place. They were not assessed properly at all. This is illegal human torture, disrespect of human life, and living in inhumane living conditions for years. Some people been there, as I stated, for 10 years. Is every milliseconds and didn't know they didn't need to be there with such high doses or any doses. Clozapine, olanzapine, risperidone, polyperidone, loxapine, other beyond ones I don't even know, I never had, but if I look up it, obviously illegal. This is a disrespect of a human life dignity to be given this in the first place, to damage a human brain that doesn't even need it for 100 million seconds and not enough nutritious food. These are well-fed doctors. They use the $1 million under God and swear an oath and morally under God and Jesus sin and disrespect another life and live with their lives and take the money on the phone every day talking to their wife, the children, planning their vacations, the lunch break. They're on break all the time. The nurses study the extra year for registered nurses, stand in the office, still have to help the patients, are too weak, have diapers, need to help them. They can't even, their blood overdrawn, frequent testing. They ask every hour, few hours for blood work. A human fighting, they know about this, tell them I just had blood work, I don't have blood left, I don't need any more. Then they come an hour later, blood work. These are humans that have no respect for human life. A human is begging for food and they point to sign on the door saying on break. The most of them are rude. A human is offended, a woman crying doesn't even have to be. There are other wards they could put in a woman in a different ward. Then there's other men that are there with clearly severe brain damage, illegally overdosed, obviously don't need it. A human can only do so much telling them, but then there's other, these had to be looked into by the colleges. They're still investigating after 20 years. They could put them in prison, take away their license, have the right to do. They couldn't hire these in the first place, give money for the disabled or after. Everyone there is disabled because of their brain damaged. They cannot work, and they were illegally harmed. They don't deserve, had bright futures. People in different countries came here reporting they can have a job, illegally put in these places, stayed there for years. They don't know English, no one to tell them that they're legally put there. They don't even know what schizophrenia is, and is a general term. They don't have to be there. Psychosis, mania. They go outside not informed, smoking. When they obviously cannot smoke on these, but no one informed them, and they work there, walking around smiling. These doctors, psychiatrists never look them in the eye because they know they're morally doing wrong. They say, "How is your mood?" once in a while, in 2 weeks, and say, "I'm coming back in 2 weeks," and leave. They're not told, like I told other patients, I push the issue, have to tell them, lower, don't give me high dose, lower it. I don't need to sleep for 12 hours. They weren't informed. I told someone they can't give you 450 milligrams so you sleep over sedated for 12 hours. No one can sleep for 12 hours. Is healthy for 8 hours. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Then they tell them they lower the dose. Well, they couldn't even give them such a high dose, then they're better off thinking they sleep less hours, less drooling. I told them you need a B complex, and it was finally given to them that to push the issue, tell them this. They in the office, remind them. There's people like me, but not working there. There's other staff working, could help them, but not doing either. Going along with them, all of them. These main B complex that is basically what human needs: omega-3s, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin C, main ones help reduce side effects or to help human health, mental health first, and don't need any antipsychotics. Are never recommended by the staff there at CAMH to any patients. They're not educated in medical matters like most patients are not. Kind-hearted humans with bright future hopes, and mine even a university degree lost to work as child basic slave labor for $7 in an assembly line, and then lose it all. And this staff make the money and have the nerve to come and walk near patients. Then I even finally got out of there somehow with a nice board member that actually cared and said she has a university degree. To this doctor, told him to basically zip it and to stop pushing his to mentioning about his article during a board meeting, which didn't make sense at all. And to state she didn't have any symptoms and she couldn't relapse. Given was wrongly prescribed one after another to prevent the relapse of symptoms of a mind disorder that I didn't have. A human cannot relapse from something they don't have. And these humans, like myself, are really illegally given these misdiagnoses that don't even make sense. All of them still on schizophrenia form, but they don't have. They're never told what they're actually beginning clozapine for. Most don't need to be there at all. When the lower doses, finally told some of them that I knew of, told them to are happy, thankful that someone told them they didn't have to use it all. People have, like I said, driver's license taken away while on these antipsychotics cannot drive. They cannot think properly. The thinking part brain is damaged for life. The memory part, that certain ones damaged. The belly fat too much glucose going on, and especially clozapine. Humans become even diabetic over time. They damage the brain so much that they live 10 to 15 years less than they would normally live, and they don't have to go through this, but illegally given, and don't deserve this. I lost 20 years, some people more, in these places, and then finally even fight to get out of community so I can go out for air when I choose. And go and get some my own food, but even poor disability, but at least go out for air. Get my own boost if I can of money. These people have the $1 million there, and poor Dish, you even phoned to help someone else months and had to call and follow up. Did you even look into this? There's humans complaining of rodents in a medical facility. The obviously rodents, mice cannot be in a building like that. And he's stating there, like I was there seeing these mice run around. They might carry different particles of different bacteria, coronavirus. No one knows where they came from, and it could infect all the people in there and have to leave, isolate the ward, sanitize it. They can't leave. There's no other one. Endanger humans, people in quarantine because of it, stay in the rooms, cannot even socialize, shower because they're in a quarantine. They might to prevent the spread or someone got ill in another room. The humans live through the worst torture, endlessly day and night with no food for years. Try to get out of these places, but need lawyers, can't afford them. Funding needs put into medical negligence lawyers to get rid of fix this once and for all, especially CAMH. Downtown Center for Addiction Mental Health. There's the new Temerity, this new facility, and for the brain intervention, they have the ECT clinic that moved from the old CAMH is now in the Temerity department. Whoever's running Temerity is illegally hiring these people going along, and the College of Physicians Surgeons Ontario and the Nursing Ontario College of Nurses of Ontario College, hiring the nurses and registered nurse practical nurse that work there. Then there's the other colleges that hire the anesthesiologists. These are medically trained professionals that studied for years to help human health under God swore oaths but are doing morally wrong. Under God cannot get away, under Jesus are sinning, cannot do, and against another human life. Misinforming them even about ECT when people consent to it, but not informing them enough to say, really stay away and don't come here. Don't go through ECT, forbid it entirely. It is never helpful to any human health. With depression, I looked up the parts of the brain, what I learned in studies, and what side effects I lived through and what I lived through. There is no benefit to any human alive to go through ECT. Anything is iffy still stated, even though they hook up million people over years to these brains, the scans, these are heart monitoring, blood pressure, different things, EKG before it. And it's still on the websites, is barely information, even Mayo Clinic, well-known ones. There's some other ones in Ontario, they're all in Australia, main ones, all different countries, have barely information about the procedure. The number's still there for the clinics. There's videos about these doctors actually that are some wrong with the mind, something wrong entirely with them, to promote this online and use their names to put there online so people see this, to promote this ECT, and are smiling. And actually, if humans watch, they do not look humans in the eye. They know they're morally doing wrong and make their paycheck and are making a video informing people about the ECT, the procedure. They show human hooked up, and no one wants to see this. The sounds in the room, beeping medical devices, human being put to sleep and don't know when they're going to be knocked out cold or not. With a mask, breathing on, put mine too tight that I almost suffocated and didn't even care. Them. I had enough time, a second before I was knocked unconscious, to tell them to loosen the mask. If I didn't, I would have been suffocated, and not enough oxygen to the brain while it was electrocuted is severe. Could have me been really severely have nerve damage in brain for life, in addition to a seizure and severe memory damage. A human fears for their life and doesn't want to go through this. No one be knocked unconscious in this procedure with no nutrients for this many hours. It does not help any depression, any catatonic. Anyone that's catatonic or pregnant, avoid it. I made another video. Please watch, share it to the world. There's no human should live through this. Get rid of who's working FDA and to get rid of this entirely. It's illegal human torture. Especially, they cannot be given human doesn't choose to be done, but done. Humans even and misinformed. The point that this may be beneficial, but these are humans illegally wronged. And in this video stating that humans are disabled. They are brain damaged, mostly all victims of psychiatrists that are medically negligent, medically incompetent, and clearly shouldn't be working there. And these patients are disabled. They cannot work, is not for a second, have been living in disrespected, no right to be, the most kind-hearted people, would love to do a job, have children, are not even informed that they're on clozapine. They think one day all they'll stop it, be put on, weaned off of it maybe, and they don't even need it, but not told. They can't drive, that maybe one day they'll have a car, save up, but they're on disability for $150 in Ontario, 200 a month, and they can't even have food there, are begging on the street. They cannot exercise barely. They have blood over frequent blood testing, venipuncture. They cannot exercise if they're too weak. Their brain is damaged. They can't think clearly because there's too much of it. Even a bit of it they don't need. Turns to second day night. Their doses are increased, so they sleep too much. They never accomplish anything. Then some stay there for years, 10 to 10 years. Every day and night, no food, nutrients, harmed heart, sugar levels going up and down, white blood cells going down, COVID times, is dangerous to their health. They can't fight off viruses. They're sitting there and can't do anything. That's what I'm saying. If humans can help, whoever has the job is there that cares, find a way when safe to do to get rid of these medically negligent psychiatrists, get a way to close the whole facility, destroy entirely. All patients previous in there would agree. They have new facility buildings, $100 million. They put a few patients there for a while, but they're most in the old, disgusting buildings. There's no food. These humans are well fed that work there. They have 3 sweaters on, and humans freezing to death there. Like myself, all disability, I had one jacket that I made as a child some money and saved and used this for 20 years. There's no money for human to buy any clothing, extra, any drinks, water, any Gatorade is extra needed there. They don't give it, have to do. No one informed there that they need any electrolytes, Gatorade. These are humans alive, need potassium, obviously, even basically they exercise or not. Vitamin C to reduce oxidative stress, and clozapine human need it every day. I told someone after all years, he told me, and the B complex was not given vitamin D he needs. These main ones helped his brain, the omega 3s he was given. I told finally one day after 10 years. No one told him, and was given clozapine he doesn't need at all. And his brain improved. He's saying, "Oh, I'm happy now. I can think more. My heart beats better." He could have been given this for 10 years. It's not a second. It's that 12 months, day long years, was never given any supplements, any nutritious food first, then given supplements to help. These are essential to all human health, especially in these mental wards and humans with mental health concerns or not. It helps the brain and heart. The B complex helps the brain in many ways and the metabolism. Clozapine humans need all the time. Other antipsychotics for sure. Even without it, a human needs these all the time. Amino acids. These fish to internalize for omega 3s when safe. They're not given any food. I'm beyond poor one myself and went there to get him some salads or anything. Found sun chips, look up, so there's not greasy food. They don't tell him. People poor. Some people have some more money there, so the kind is hard, but order takeout, but it's greasy food. But they eat whatever they can, but their heart is harmed, but they have to eat it because the fat. Would love to eat healthy food, other ones, but they don't recommend it, not given to them. They can't afford it. With ODSP, that's Ontario Disability Support Program. This is not a disability support program. A human cannot live for 100 with $150 and can afford one night in hotel out of the cold for 30 days and nights in a month. Not enough for food, hot chocolate for a few days, and it's gone. The money. And they did the meals every breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then the next day, lunch and dinner, none of the money. To it's even cold to warm, drink hot chocolate to warm the bloodstream. And human is severely brain damaged, doesn't need this clozapine, olanzapine. Any humans, even with a mental concern, there doesn't have to be. Even this depression could have easily been given supplements and helped and left. Didn't have to be there. People misinformed, don't know English well, and kept there for 100 million day nights. Some were there since before me for over 20 years, and still. I only told what I can, what I know certain people. Other cases the doctors knew, but I told only human people over time. Love to hear this. They're not educated in medical matters. I was, and I barely got out of there. If I had intelligent board members to begin with, those ones too, consent and capacity board. Humans have rights to file these and go there, but they had some medically negligent ones to say, oh, we're going to book another meeting, and never had the meeting, and it kept in these mental wards. I didn't have to be in, no children. Like these humans cannot get away with it, but they're doing psychiatrists, people filing complaints, but the boards are not say they can't give money to these people, but they make the $1 million illegally under God, have to give back this paycheck and help the victims, but they're not doing. The disability people, ODSP, that's the government, and the Ontario government has the billions, millions of dollars they didn't put into it. They live their luxury, but humans harmed. If they hired proper staff, medical ones in colleges for their $1 million and actually had someone that he cared, then I wouldn't be harmed and living on the street like those people suffering, and not only on street. They stay there and cannot go outside. They have a staff member sometimes when it wasn't COVID to go with them for air. Other times it's COVID to prevent the strain. They cannot go outside at all. And disgusting in the same air, cannot go out free to go out for a dinner with someone, walk out for air, exercise, go to the park, has a human right to have oxygen, go in and out of a building when they choose, prevent the spread. The nurse is medically negligent. Some didn't put a mask on, and some people had to be isolated in ward and stay in their own room without shower for weeks because they go to the other room where the shower is because to prevent the spread. Disabled people live through what is not, and most are victims, especially mental health. This is a huge $1 million these pharmaceutical companies make for clozapine, and is a specific pharmacy that goes along with this, and the pharmacists, and no, but mostly how almost 100% of the patients they are legally given this and show up and have to get a prescription saying I don't need this, but they say, oh, the psychiatrist filled this prescription, you have to go there. They go along, make the other $1 million too, and are working there with expensive warm vehicles to heat, pay the extra money to buy a vehicle with heating, while this patient kinda doesn't have a jacket. No, there's one social worker trying to find some funding somewhere to help them. Then you could have the $1 billion and give them orders some from a store well known is less expensive. Some can be have clearance and put a nice jacket is on sale and give to all these people a nice jacket. Even not expensive, even a normal priced one, they deserve. They are legally harmed there, deserve every luxury in life, not these ones that are wronging these people. But they made $1 million and have to give the paycheck back, but no one there has money for lawyers, medical negligence ones, and they get away with it. They can't. They can file criminal charges and put a warrant for their arrest for bodily harm against freedom of choice, illegal torture. They have no right to harm another human life and their paycheck taken away and put in prison. But humans not informed about that either. Patients, well, the college is still looking into it. Criminal charges can be filed against a doctor psychiatrist. The disability I'm saying, please, whoever can, contact this ODSP. The one I know of, Ontario is a province disability support program. Help the funding. There's an Ontario disability support program. There's a coalition supposedly to help this. There's the housing is at, as I stated, a 10-year waiting list. Humans entered like myself there. It was 1999. Is over 20 years. Since then, put on a waiting list. The disabled, and they didn't even have to be there. Me and myself, mostly almost 100% of the patients illegally put there in CAMH. Brain damage illegally, with high hopes. Some had college finished, university like myself, lost it all. These heartless humans smiling, taking away human driver's license. And then kept there for years. I myself was intelligent, fought against this, and didn't have to be. I had to be in a medical ward, not mental health one, and released. Other humans don't know, as I stated, and suffer there. Need that's what I'm saying. People be kind-hearted. I'm informing, letting people know what these people live through, such as myself, and these still living there. Will never save money for a home. I could have made money to save in not lazy, in university degree, do research, and even to save money throughout the years for retirement, work hard, even though cold, to stay out of the cold. The houses in Canada, Ontario used to be 100,000, and now the same house is $1 million. Burgers Simmons could usually buy usually a few dollars years ago, now are $5 to $7. Meals in burger places are $15 for one human can afford to eat, and no job to even afford this to eat on ODSP and have to live a whole month off of it. What the Ontario government could have looked into, the Prime Minister, Trudeau, for example, and the colleges under, made their billions, millions of dollars, have all the funding, could do, and respect all human lives to make sure proper psychiatrists work there and never put these people in the place in first place. Then they're the victims and don't fund disability. They're illegally torturing humans, making $1 million under God. They can't make the paycheck because they're supposed to do their job to help people and have to give their money back. But they didn't. To help humans to find, can contact them if they can help. To this Justin Trudeau, the Ontario ministers, the other parties, NDP, other ones, tell them what's going on. This is a human that needs thousands of dollars for a basic shelter if they were even to a hotel. $250 a basic night for just a washroom and bed with a maybe microwave, but not with food, for times 30 days and nights in a month approximately, just to stay out of the cold as they deserve so they don't freeze when brain damage a victim. Food then costs for each day and night approximately say $100 for a breakfast, lunch, dinner, some snacks in between each day times 30 days. Then money for clothing each day, some money to do something else they choose accomplish in life, to money to save even for throughout the years for a home, for retirement. This is thousands of dollars that are not given basic necessity for human that could even win a job doing right to do or love to themselves, were illegally harmed and weren't given for by ODSP every month at all. $150 or $250 for 30 days and nights, and no money for food, and begging on the street while even admitted there because there's no food they're giving proper, and going on the street, and sometimes the restaurant nearby put a food cart extra to help these people that are severely brain memory damaged like myself, that didn't have to be there, don't need to be on clozapine at all. And it barely given sometimes these people is scared of food there. And then the rest of the day starving. They don't have any gifts. Social workers hired. There's one or two they care, but they only one human can. They need more people working there. So I say if anyone knows any people, even though it's COVID, to find when it's safe to order some jackets even on sale. They even like even basic, even gently used clothing, but new and nice enough to give to them. These people welcome any donations, nice ones that they deserve, new jackets as anyone did. Would they love to work themselves? Are not lazy, but can't. Our brain is damaged, memory damage. What they live through is beyond wrong. They don't deserve, and some for, as I said, 10 years. 20 years not informed that they can't have children because of side effects. No one tells them anything. They're still living there. ODSP is nothing after millions complained that they're poor and are mostly victims because the prime minister and them didn't do the job to hire proper colleges and under them the proper doctors, psychiatrists that care, properly fund these places. They obviously have the $1 million. These people have been donating, lying there, putting for years to help, but they never gave to the patients, most of them. Staff's pictures on these buildings, Harleys that don't want to see, that harmed my life and others, paid $1 million for a huge poster size of a huge wall saying they do good work in the community online. They harmed human lives and pay money for that, but don't give money for food. A boost, a meal replacement. I searched myself to find other people. The Slim Fast, the best one with these nutrients and help the humans save life when they didn't give enough meal and give it to them proper with certain vitamins they need and help the human life dramatically with that alone. And they don't, then I said to tell this patient to tell them they can order it for free and give it to the patient so they need the money obviously to a disability to give them and they're in the facility have ability to order it and give it to them and have a right and has to respect the patient. You have to push the issue and tell them 100 times before they ordered it. With the nursing staff that care could know right away, could file the papers and put it in the order, and we have the Slim Fast, this meal replacement right away. And humans have to beg there for food, beg for help. The nurses are trained to check in on them to care, blood pressure this. They check blood pressure once in a while. Then I'm begging humans say, oh, the water machine's broken. Oh, we'll fix it. But the humans need water right away. They come and then say later, you didn't fix it, I need water. I'm on break. I can't help you right now. These are illegal tortures. I lived through it. They offend humans. There's all people crying there. All kind-hearted humans. They pray to Jesus all the time for help. Doesn't help them either. These humans need to be helped by the humans to file complaints that even heard this, that weren't patients, but to please help. They would share this story is true. I have the million medical records of days when I even educated pushed the issue and said to write in the file what their names are. Most squiggle the lines. Nurses to weasel their way out. Told them to write exactly that I'm against this. I don't need this antipsychotic. Put it in the records. Tell these people. I told them write it down. I told you to give me supplement. You didn't give it to me. I need it. Other people don't know these things. They're never given anything. No supplements, no meal replacements, no food. And live there, they over sedated, they give them over high dose and damage severely brains, so they're knocked out cold and sleep for 12 hours and accomplish nothing. Then no one to talk to, intelligent, maybe one, two people. They're nice people, but severely brain damaged. No one wants to see humans crying when they see these other people injected with things no human wants to see. People yelling, The poor people, they do even walk out of there and some leave, and I'm on their side to escape and leave. Police come after them. I hope they don't find them. These are kind-hearted human, right to leave that place, escape, and never return. No human should live there. Then put there illegally and harmed. Well, the ones making the $1 million can't. So I'm saying anyone who can help with this ODSP, the boards, or anyone they know bioethics boards, contact Justin Trudeau. Keep calling him till he does something. Tell him to resign if he doesn't. There are laws. He has to do his job. The ones under his employment, the Ontario premiers, the other ones, there's other ones that hire the CAMG, those managers, trustees. There are also medical doctors wrongly going along with these psychiatrists for years, some over 20 years still working there. They make the millions of dollars. Expensive suits. Well, they're harming all these patients. Pass from one doctor to another, wrong one. So please, if someone knows when safe, obviously it's COVID, but find to help someone, social workers, these people care to help these people, at least care. These nutrition staff care, but can only do so much. They help and get these some people didn't want to say a meal replacement and take the time to hide it and give it to a patient that needed more, saying they would need food. They help these people, but they need the actual staff that orders these. Doctors order these supplements, these meal replacements, the food. They're the ones who aren't helping the patients. They are humans, leaving them starving to death while on dangerous antipsychotics, benzodiazepines, ECT. A human myself was wheeled in wheelchair with blood overdrawn, didn't need, and a woman fought against frequent blood testing. And then wheeled and prescribed wrongly ECT against my free will. When a human clearly can't even sit there, endangered alive and happy, smiling, this nurse, oh, they don't look in the eye, human, and wheeled in wheelchair to this ECT clinic. I told I don't need to be there even to rest, so I grow the blood first. Enough in nutrients to have after recover blood work. No, they wheel human in wheelchair. Obviously, no, they can't even sit in wheelchair. And wheel too, they have a knocked out colon brain electrocuted. And don't need. And the smiling. Then they leave the building smiling and talking on the family herd. These nurses, they still work there. I filed the complaints. They're investigating this college that hired them. I push the issue that I spent my life don't reminded of it when I can't hire a medical negligence lawyer, can't afford it, and would sue and put in prison years ago and be done with it, and money to live. Then the college looks into it, say they can't give money, but that they will fire them if needed, look into it. A human calling doesn't be reminded of the staff, nurses, and doctors that wrong me, and then put the issue, say a month, oh, we're gonna investigate, find an investigator. They're supposed to do right away, is a year and a half. They're still investigating. But these humans working another year and a half made more money and harmed more people. And they're still working there with expensive vehicles. They call their family all the time on lunch break and went on vacation with this money. Well, they harm people illegally can and have to give it back, but no one to enforce this. And I have to do. So I need anyone to hear this to let you know this is going on everywhere in the world. This is in Toronto, where I was a victim of over 20 years. I was a figure skating varsity and wrongly put there when I had to go to a medical one with blood clot and put in mental ward because they wanted a patient with a paycheck. Passed to one doctor, another schizophrenia stated, obviously I didn't have and didn't need, and lost university life science 4-year degree and didn't give me money for it and no money on ODSP. 100 million day night, could have worked, save, have retirement money now, married, took kids to school, live my life as I rightly deserve and couldn't. And I don't have money, any jacket, barely bought one after 20 years, and nothing to live off of. In Canada, the storms cold all the time and nowhere to live. I will never save money for retirement. I supposed to work these 20 years of youth loss after studied as child, elementary, high school, university, lost all. No money given to me. No money for lawyers. Would I win multi-million-dollar lawsuit and money enough even to live what I could have made for years at home now and nothing. I never will make money for home. The human is already old. He cannot have even barely children now after years even. Like myself and a lady wasn't allowed to be disrespected this way. These people still live with themselves. How they do, I don't know. Smiling. And people need funding for ODSP, so please help them. Whoever has a high level jobs, doctors, psychiatrists, tell Justin Trudeau in Canada, other countries it goes on too. Fire these medically negligent psychiatrists. They obviously don't know English. They obviously have no respect for human life and have to in their job description. These are humans' brains severely damaged. Disability, keep in mind, is a disability. A human is brain damaged. They cannot think in a million seconds in not a second. They cannot work, obviously. They are to be respected as humans, most, as I stated, victims, so have to be treated with respect even more. They would have done their own job and cared and had a family, but couldn't because of medically negligent staff. They need people to get them out of there rather. Anyone who cares that knows about CAMH, any caring doctor, find a way to fire these people. These main doctors been working there, have 5 jobs as head clinical scientists, researchers, illegally wronging patients, and research doing for over 2 decades, and are well known. Other doctors smile at them, go along with them, the pharmacies, the all secretaries, the physiologists. There's a head department at Temerty, the ECT department, illegally wronged me, still work there for years. He makes the extra $1 million. He had no right to wrong my life, and I didn't have to go there. And then he knows. The college is still investigating. Anyone who knows the scholars who helped fire them, I obviously don't have a lawyer to afford. And we done already. The CPSO not doing their job. They're medically negligent too. The CNO, College Nurses Ontario, fire them all. Take away their paycheck million and give it to the victims like me. Then I at least have money for a house to get out of the cold to stay in. For all the days, it's not a second. It's minus 40 degrees every day. In Canada, the worst winters, storm wind, and human goes out with the 2 mittens have after years. And loss could have made my bought a nice jacket every year, a new one, 2 years, and worn out the next one as normal human need. I had one jacket, save as a child, barely work had, and have still for after 20 years one jacket. I have no money to work and disabled, brain damage, and left in cold because of these humans. Couldn't figure skate no more, varsity skater, helped children, played the piano, studied grade 7, high level, lost it all, couldn't play piano for years, couldn't skate, couldn't teach NHL goaltenders, could be the world researcher top in the world, and I couldn't do it because of brain damage for over 20 years. And I never have children, anything. And like these people are still there, like me, some college studies, even to high school. That's still a lot of studies, bright futures, couldn't do anything. The jewels are taken away, the rights, not rights, they have rights, but to be respected, but are they have taken away their chances when harmed because of side effects to have children. The caring people are not even informed about this. Smoking outside, go out harmed, they return, no one tells them, you just harmed your health more with this, it's dangerous on antipsychotics, you can't do this, no one told them. I told some people, they stopped. They love to be informed, someone helped them. I obviously don't work there. I love to if I had a job and could do, and I'd work there and clear up the whole place right away, as any medically competent doctor should have already, but hasn't done either. To help humans, please find ODSP. Whoever hears this, call them, help them, file more complaints, help these disabled people. They are kind hearted humans of all. Get them out of there after 10 to 20 years. They didn't have to suffer there. Get food, tell complaints. Even other people say you heard someone, get them nutritious food, meals, expensive meal, expense played, proper nutritious meal plans. Order from these sites that they have these nice new ones. People order themselves, but safe when COVID to order healthy, nutritious, entirely all expense paid meal plans as they rightly deserve after 20 to 10 to 20 years. They need it every day. They're normal humans. Would cook the food themselves, get healthy food, but they can't in these places. The doctors made $1 million, went to expensive restaurant with their wife while they made illegal paychecks, and the patient was left on the street with ODSP, can't even enough money to go out and had to beg on the street for food. And not even anyone there a food card every day to give to them anything. And starving, but have to live. Ill more because of side effects with no food and water. And they live turned to million days and still starving there, accomplish nothing, and can't get out. No one tells them that they don't have to be there, that they don't need clozapine, olanzapine, or risperidone. They don't need any of it. They never did. They're happy even people to give a jacket, a new one, so they have one to wear as warm. They accept any even gifts gently used. Obviously, these are the nicest ones. There's sold even sale items that are new to people can donate. I do myself a job. I was poor, but walked there and bought some shoes, even though poor, and gave to someone there, even though I had no money, because they're so poor that they need the shoes because they need the shoes to wear. I got the boots and these other outlet malls, went there, even though poor, and went there because they need boots to give them boots. This doctor could stand there and take their paycheck and give them boots. They paid the money in their Lincoln Navigator heated seats, paid the extra money for the leather seats. Whether they harmed these people yelling at them rude. They had the nerve to talk to me when I was standing there. This they do to other patients too. I left there and they're saying, "Oh, did you come back here?" They have the nerve. They disrespected a lady. And I finally got out, don't want to talk to them, no, to talk to me. Other ones saying, "Hi, Angelica. How are you?" And these patients, some that left, we went to check up or something to close a file or something. And these people smiling still after they wronged a human life for 10 to 20 years. They don't even have the respect to look away, to turn themselves into prison. And the people wronged there, still and crying, don't want to see these people that work there and studied 4 years. I don't know how they live with this. They study actually 4 years, hard nursing studies, and harm people's lives and don't help them. They study medical doctor studies. 4 years is very hard studies, long years, psychiatrist, and then do nothing and harm people and make the $1 million. And then are affiliated with U of T and Harvard and all the other countries, had universities, extra professors. They had clinical researchers at U of T. They make the extra $1 million. Hopefully not misinforming the students. It needs to be stopped. And anyone who has a heart, please, even some used clothing, help these people, brings joy to them. Fund a party for them. Simple in this COVID, but keep in mind. But even if someone has a heart, find a friend to call, call their number, say a nice human to talk to them. Would love some people intelligent to talk to. They don't have anyone to talk to, no family, no friends. Simple phone calls would help them. People are alone there. No one is. It takes a human talking even few minutes brings huge joy, even more if they can an hour, so they have something to pass the time. Someone to help them bring joy for an hour, a few minutes, and they remember this, a nice card. This is humans alone there with nothing to do. They barely find a ping pong table once to play with someone, and then COVID cannot do it and sit in a room in quarantine for 10 days at times. It's a long hours, and I was there with no food and nothing to do. Stale air. The curtains barely on window. The human looks outside. There's nothing really to see. Some other buildings. This is disrespect of human life entirely. And people still living through this. This is in Toronto, right downtown. There's luxury condos that can easily be funded by the prime minister to give to these people funding so they live there and go to jacuzzis and fully funded food as they rightly deserve. Every luxury in life for the rest of their life and have the right to be given. Medical negligence lawyers paid for, these people fired immediately and would win multi-million dollar lawsuits for illegal bodily harm for years, punitive damages, and have money to live. And any luxury they choose and rightly deserve. Enough food and counseling to help heal them, wean off of this, cause a pain, and whatever saved whatever health they have, proper medical nutrition staff for free. No nutritionists, these naturopaths that charge over $100, and then for IVs even separately that can be given OHIP but don't give to people to counsel people to help wean them off of it. The humans to please contact them and to ask them, whoever owns this CAMH, to donate and put funding into the nutrition department. Proper food, tell them to care, keep phoning them. Some people have time. They have an iPhone once a day, follow up. Please help them. I did only what I can, but I crippled. I can't even do. Only sometimes I'm a human being. I need more credible, these high level medical staff or someone that knows, proper lawyers to help look into this, to get rid of this once and for all with the colleges that are not doing their job to fire these people. They have to give by law their paycheck back to help these people. They're not doing either. Criminal charges filed, put warrants for these arrests of these doctors, psychiatrists, put them in prison once and for all. Their papers, psychiatric journals need taken down from PubMed. Most misinformation, illegal trials, but they don't state this in the journal. Someone, they have the funding. I would say donate some nice items, clothing, but try to get these facilities to hire the staff to give them the funding actually, because the people did donate for years. These people accept donations and CAMH for years, but did almost nothing to give to the patients. So push the issue if someone can to the complaints department and keep following up and call them, say, did you give any money for food to these people? Did you hire proper staff? I heard that you're mistreating, disrespecting human life here. You state this is a really well-known facility for mental health for donations you're asking on your site, but you've been given these by kind-hearted humans donating for years, but you're not actually helping these people there. You're illegally keeping them tortured there. The donation's been given for years by kind-hearted humans support mental health research. So there's one or two staff that care, but they do nothing even to fire the other ones. Could find an anonymous report safely, keep pushing the issue. This person's really harming this person. File a criminal law. There's a criminal complaint for a criminal lawsuit to get a warrant for their arrest for bodily harming, illegally harming patients. And they would have a police officer come and take them to prison. Anyone who's working there can accomplish, please do. These some main ones need gone. Help these patients right away. Put more nutrition, even at least. There's those online sites can order and they have the money resources, not like they don't. They open the new buildings above even Cambridge Emergency, all empty, new clean wards could help people there off the street that they left. To make sure they leave when they choose, though. To keep off the street, even out of the cold. To fund the nutrition, to put there even if they're patient temporarily or not. To help this if they're the victims, they wrong them. To help and morally obligate to give them money. Find them housing. There's some been looking for housing and then they have to still in the community and go back to get their prescription and wean them off of it. They after they'll be weaned off and never given this in the first place. By the time they some had to find housing already, they've been in that place so long that they cannot have a job, they're brain damaged. They finally live what they could live on themselves, given a basic, buy a mattress, given some funding, and then have to live, but still. But that's if they're lucky. I wasn't given anything. I thought to just even get out of there. I don't want to even see this place. Intelligent human. Two, if someone knows these people or finds someone, if they clothing even, and jacket is really cold, mostly shoes, boots, nice one. Would help these people a lot. A nice jacket. One safe is the COVID times, but these people really don't have any clothing to buy. Someone help ODSP. These need thousands of dollars just for basic necessities to travel to take a bus. They have nothing, not even for hot chocolate for a whole month, not even barely a day. But have to live off of it, like myself, for a whole month is impossible. Never save up for anything. Never have another jacket, new one when needed. And then extra boots is winter, different seasons, cannot buy different shoes. They don't have any money at all to live, but have to live. A right to do a job and can't because they brain damage illegally and cannot do anything. Memory damage on the street, end up sitting there begging for food, money for a hot chocolate after kept there illegally, finally some way to get out of there and even live on the street. Supposed to be given proper housing funding, some get it, some don't. And then they have to live with brain damage. A disability is a human has a brain or injury. Some nerve damage because of it, muscles cannot walk or crippled are there. They have nowhere to live and freezing to death and don't deserve it. While these doctors live in luxury, harm them can't and got away with it. The humans to help phone push the issue, help them if you can. Help find a social worker or get someone to more that you know that care. They're the ones they actually care. Visit this patient, try to find activities for them. These people were wrongly harmed. Keep in mind, they don't deserve and don't even need to be there. This is all in the world still going on. That's why I put other videos. Please watch. Even schizophrenia, if a doctor tells you, tell it is not a real term. Tell them if you don't tell me a real specific mental disorder that you know you have and they don't tell you it, then leave. File complaint. You have to act. These people need to be stopped, get rid of once and for all. Don't enter any CAMH emergency unless you have to. Go to a different medical hospital. Go to a GP. If when safe COVID counts, ask a doctor for counseling advice and proper nutrition first. Don't ever go to CAMH emergency. Don't ever go to Mount Sinai Hospital emergency. You might be entered on a form and don't even need and wrongly stay in a way to get out for years even. This is illegal beyond wrong. What they do to humans, and this is Toronto. Please help the disabled. Keep in mind it's cold in half the world. Canada, unfortunately. In the States, every second frostbite, cold. No one deserves, and we're gonna die, suffering, starving. No money for disability. Anyone who can help to us get the funding finally after years. It takes thousands of dollars for a human just to live for a month. Basicness about rights to have. They were wrong, could have had a job for years like myself, have a shelter now, even save money, retired, but nothing at all and never can. Disabled. Cannot work, would love to work, but a right to be respected, funding when they wrong the victims. To push this issue with ODSP that they wrong the government. If they hired proper medical staff, psychiatrists that cared, wouldn't be wrong these people, such as myself, for even years. They could have saved money in retirement, right to made themselves. And they were wrong, so you have to give them the thousands of dollars when they can't afford a medical negligence lawyer that they need, that they could easily live and make them actually themselves per month for food, save for shelter, help them with the housing immediately, basic mattress place or a nice hotel to put there where they can close to buy enough food to live out of the cold, and a washroom, bed, and nice simple rooms or even clean air, but basic one costs 250 a night, plus food every for times 30 days and nights. Even that is not given to all these disability people. They have nothing. Don't deserve to be disrespected this way because psychiatrists were hired negligently working there. These kind people to find social workers, anyone who can, to visit them. These people help to find them housing, activities, to find donations, companies to please save and already post the issue with CAMH that they say you've already had the donations. They obviously have the $1 million to fund this, to give to these social workers to help these people find, and they'll go shop and find a nice, actual nice $100 jacket, nice one that they deserve and use for a long time that they like, a nice sweater that they deserve, could make themselves for years, had nothing. Shoes when it's cold, boots, gloves. They don't have gloves, they don't have anything. These are kind of humans like myself. We're not given anything. No disability, anything. People for years. This is beyond disgraceful. Anyone who can help push the issue, anyone in higher level jobs, ways to know lawyers can get rid of these people working there. Illegal, mostly psychiatrists in other countries. ECT clinics closed down entirely. They don't help anyone. All illegally tend stop working, making $1 million. People for years, every country, online. Even some on children associated hospitals have misinformation, all of them online, not put enough side effect information to show that this is torture, not allowed for children. It is stated all might be safe for pregnant women if no other antipsychotics work. When a woman is pregnant, they cannot go through ECT. Their brain is going to be human fasting and then brain electrocute body. They cannot endanger an infant. This information, and this is why people are disabled, because these heartless humans put this online, ECT and antipsychotics bullshit, misinformation, and harm humans illegally, and even endanger children's lives, old people, illegally, to make their paychecks. Anyone who can, please help. I'm only one human. I can only file certain complaints to message about online to push the issue. If you see some sites take a day, there's sometimes two, three a day. Other ones help inform people, put this video link, inform other people by word of mouth. Over online, call this CAMH and tell them to smart enough to respectalize and fire these people and put that money where they deserve to the victims. Housing, push the issue, put them in there's the condos across the street, and then give them the money $1 million that they didn't give for years. ODSP and right to give to normal would have money saved for years to live, and give it, put it, and put a nice hotel across the street, the extra few $100, and put them to have enough food, room service for life, as they rightly deserve, paid full for years. They could have made this self, couldn't, but harm illegally, and live off the street warm in these nice places, food given to them, enough to eat, do there's activities, swimming pools, they could do what they choose, no more clozapine, the doctors close, find a caring one to wean them off of it. Lowered 50, 25 milligrams rather every week or so when safe that they didn't need and have a healthier, longer life and don't have to be on it all and heal, resting. So please help those in disability. Keep in mind they are brain damaged for life once harm is not easy to heal a brain. Humans is almost impossible to thinking brain parts to be healed. Please help these kind-hearted humans. Donate something when you can. Ask them, as I stated first. You have the funding already. People donated kind for years. You didn't. CAMH in Mount Sinai give to these people, mainly nutrition department. Make sure to tell them the doctors have to order the food for these patients specifically, nutritious food, B complex, offer them, have to give them omega 3s mainly, and vitamin C enough, and vitamin D. These are the main supplements, snacks, different walnut, these nuts and seeds versus fatty chips where they go are poor but go to the closest dollar store or something and get only with all this really nothing to get a snack but it's greasy food, the cheapest food they can get. These little packs of noodles. These contain salts and stuff they can have while on clozapine and different things are harmful, but this is only they can have to eat. They shouldn't live off the cheapest fatty and salty foods because they're all they can afford. $1 for a chips of that harm the health, but right to eat something, and all they have for a whole month for enough for a few bags of chips, would have to live off of it and to save money for years retirement. Nothing, no clothing to buy, a nice jacket, no purse, no backpack, no pens, can't afford anything. The turn to million nights, as I stated, or sedated illegally, accomplish nothing, no activities. Could even afford to send them a pack of cards, some nice people. The funding is there actually for people to phone them and say to push the issue and give it. If not, we're gonna really complain. You cannot disrespect human life this way. It's illegal torture. Call the police. File criminal charges. They cannot disrespect human lives this way. It's too many years. Then they have to give their paycheck back. Tell them these doctors, there's laws. Under God, they're doing morally wrong, have no right to harm these people. Put them in prison, torture charges, bodily harm against human free of choice. Main doctors, psychiatrists working there, ECT department, all of them closed, put in prison. Health social workers, these ones help these people find in community places, put the funding, call Justin Trudeau, tell him what happened, keep telling him. The Prime Minister, the Ontario government, these ministers, the different provinces, other provinces most likely have this hospital, people working like this too. It's mainly mental health wards. Humans don't deserve to be mistreated this way. Most of the funding was given. I can't even donated people to the hardest about these places for brain injuries, people with mental health disorders, but never really given to these people. On nothing, but they made the buildings, but no one in there, the new ones. Please help those with disabilities. Keep in mind that these are kind-hearted humans with that want to have a bright future, but taken away wrongly, mostly victims. CAMH Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, other countries. Needlessly still suffering, even as I speak. The seconds going by, they don't have breakfast, they don't like it, and had to request something else, sometimes giving something, sometimes not. Then they're starving. These are long hours to lunchtime, have nothing to eat till lunchtime. They have brain damage, need the vitamins, but don't get it. Then there's the lunchtime, maybe sometime good, sometime not, and then minimal is very small. No one gets a nice piece of lasagna, some healthy vegetable one, some snacks healthy, even nuts, a bag of nuts and seeds, a healthy snack versus potato chips. They don't even have anything. They could give them banana every day, avocado, need healthy fat, and nothing. These need every day. No one's even told if they go to a store or they have minimal money, but to say, look, you can get a banana to help your heart, potassium, avocado, this, to get a salad. This I found took the time myself poor, but went to the store, found us recommend the cereal. These are what the doctors have to do. They train nutrition staff. But those ones care, but the doctors to actually accomplish this, to write the patient files, what food to give these each patient. Someone has to deal with the psychiatrist doctors to help them, to tell them to either do their job or leave, to fire these ones, to find caring doctors, psychiatrists immediately to rectify this. Nutrition oriented, to decrease and get rid of and wean all these patients needlessly on clozapine. Look into the records why they were first put on it, if they don't need it at all, and ask the patient how they feel if they were told and they know the truth that they don't need it, to wean them off of it. Few 25 milligrams a week rather, slowly. Assess their health, see how they're doing, put more visits, not once every 2 weeks and leave. And these people in a few matter weeks, this will lessen this side effects, sleep less, do more, be healthier, find the funding they already have, that kind-hearted people did donate. Is the money's there, but they're not given to the patients. If you do not want someone personally, donate a nice jacket, a nice gift, a card even, makes human happy, remind that you're remembering them. These are kind people, spend long hours, can't keep even find someone to talk to their patient and phone them every few minutes. They need someone to talk to. They have nothing, absolutely nothing to do there. No one should be mistreated like this. Please, anyone who can help these people, these victims, help them find funding. If you know how to help me with the funding after this, any contact information, please help me. Help these people there. They're still suffering. They don't have to be, and obviously don't need to be there. Thank you for listening.